Hi, it's Margaret at Eamon, Gantner and Capriano. Do you have a will? Eamon, Gantner and Capriano, yourestatematters.com. The choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on advertising.
News, traffic, and the latest on the Redbirds. This is the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
All right, good to be with you on a Thursday here on the Redbird Rush Hour. Matt, Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. I am in our lovely KMOX studios, backlit, of course, by the sun, because that window faces west. That's the way that goes. Matt, Pauley, you're in Fenton, my guy.
I am. I'm at Hot Shots. I am backlit by large TVs
that
are behind me, so we both have
is that a little NFL network behind you?
I don't even, maybe, sure, yes, I guess. I don't know. But I do know I'm in Hot Shots in Fenton, right off 44, like Mraz. So folks want to come on out here and say hello. We're here for our City Soccer Showcase. That's going to be from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, where City SC's Tomas Ostrak's going to be here, and he'll spend a little bit of time with us on the radio. And then I said 6 to 7. It's really the soccer part of the radio is 6 to 7, but he's going to be here all the way till 8 o'clock, signing autographs, taking pictures, doing all those things. So I always say, great opportunity. If you've got parents out there, especially you got kids in soccer practice, stop on by when soccer practice gets done. Meet Tomas, get yourself some food, get yourself a drink, and have yourself a good evening. So we'll be here all the way till 8 o'clock this evening.
Awesome. So in the meantime, we will definitely just talk some ball, maybe a little football later on in the show. It kind of depends on where it goes, and some of it depends on the listeners and the viewers. So if you're on the stream and you want to throw us a question, go ahead. It works easily on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And then, of course, you can text 314-436-7900 if you want to comment on the things that we're getting into. Matt, I don't want to get into the mathematical elimination or anything like that, because we all knew that was coming. It's just been a matter of time, barring a miracle. And miracles do sometimes happen in sports. Ask the Cleveland Guardians.
The only thing I would say on that is it's a bummer that it happened in a game that they should have won.
Well, yeah. But they also had a couple games they probably should have lost that they just won. Yes. So it's a little bit of a balancing.
Sure.
Yeah, a little bit of a balancing of the scales. But what I will say, I think the story out of last night, the story is Sonny Gray. Mm-hmm. And not just how well he performed, and not just the fact that he became just the fourth Cardinals pitcher since 1920 to have back-to-back 200 strikeout seasons.
Yeah,
you saw that?
Wainwright. And
so Adam Wainwright.
09 and 10.
It's Adam Wainwright, yep, and it's Jose De Leon. And then obviously Bob Gibson and Gibby probably did it like 6 or 7 or 8 straight years, something like that. Only three other guys in Cardinals history since 1920, and probably ever, because before that, people didn't strike out that many guys.
No,
so probably ever. He's only the fourth one to do that, and he had a good game last night. But after the game, kind of continued with the same vibe, Matt, that we've heard the last couple of weeks when he's had a chance to speak.
Yeah, a couple things. So first off, if you're shocked by this, what he said last night, you haven't paid attention.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking to you, Kevin, but I'm talking to our listeners. If you're shocked by Sonny Gray being more overt and out there in terms of him talking about maybe being traded and being open to a trade, you just haven't been paying attention, because he has said a number of things recently where if you read between the lines, you knew that they were headed in that direction. So basically what he said last night was that he came here to win, that the team has not won in his 2 years, and that he would be willing to maybe go somewhere else. But he also mentioned the fact that even if he waives his no trade clause, it's still not completely in his control. And I think he's somebody who likes to have as much control as possible. So he might go to the Cardinals and say, hey, I would waive my trade clause to these 10 teams. There's no guarantee that the Cardinals would work out a deal.
That's right.
And he's owed $35 million next year. And I don't think that's a big deal at all for the Cardinals, because they paid him very little money in year number 1. So that's where they made it up. But if you are a team that's coming in who didn't get the benefit of the year 1 where you don't pay him very much, that's $35 million in real money for other teams. So you can, in a fuzzy math kind of way, Kevin, you can say he's more expensive to other teams than he is for the Cardinals. And I don't know if the Cardinals have to eat money on Nolan Arenado. I'm not sure if the Cardinals are willing to eat money on Sonny Gray, and I don't know how many teams want to go spend $35 million on him.
Well, I mean, look, for a big market team for 1 year, that's nothing. If you're a
I
big,
think it's
if you're
nothing.
a
I think
big,
it's more than nothing.
if you're the New York Mets and you have endless payroll and a guy who's the richest owner in baseball, and you're desperate to win, and your rotation was just a problem, I don't think you're going to have a problem with 1 year at $35 million.
I don't think he goes back to New York. I know
No,
the Yankees had the
I'm just
issue,
saying.
but
I think the big market teams, the ones that really have money, aren't going to balk at that because 1 year is just 1 year, and you may find yourself in a situation. We've seen this play out a number of times where the quality of what you'll get in return may be related to how much of it you're willing to eat. So if you're willing to eat $10 million, you might get a better player in return, or more good players in return rather than less.
I'm comfortable playing that game with Nolan Arenado. I'm not as comfortable playing that game with Sonny Gray. If you trade Sonny Gray, I think you need to shed the salary and also get legit dudes back. And if that's not possible, then I hold on to him.
If you're not adding anything and you're already subtracting a bunch of other contracts, why wouldn't you pay $10 million to get more quality? You're buying players. You're just buying talent. And when you think of the return on that, if those players are any good, they're going to overwhelmingly cover that.
Because it's Sonny Gray. And pitching is the single highest, most sought-after commodity in Major League Baseball.
Sure.
And that's an area where I don't think you bend over backwards for another team.
So if another
I
team
think you
says
make
to you,
another
we'll
team
give you
feel
a
it a little
top
bit.
100 guy if you eat $10 million, and other than that, it's going to be a guy that's in our bottom 10, between 6 and 10 in our system, I'll buy the better guy.
If that scenario plays out, if what you are getting back is, profound enough that it makes sense, then I can back off my stance right now. But it's got to be really good.
Yeah, and I just think that, look, how many guys in free agency this year are you going to get that are back-to-back 200 strikeout guys whose peripheral numbers, like his fielding independent ERA and his expected ERA, are both lower than the real deal. So his underlying numbers are actually really good. He's got one of the lowest walk rates in baseball and strikes people out, and he's a veteran. And you don't really have to. You're not making any big risk commitment on the long term. I just don't see anything out there comparable in free agency.
That's true.
Your closest comp in terms of ability is Dylan Cease, and he had a terrible year, and he's going to want 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah, and it's a different profile as well. You're right in all that. So and our friend Henry sends in a message here, Kevin, and I guess my question to him is, he says, I believe Sonny, Nato, and Wilson will stick around for the 26th season. Why do you believe that? Because Sonny Gray said last night he's open to a trade.
Yeah.
Nolan Arenado said to Katie Woo that he's going to expand the list of teams that he is willing to move to.
He got a goodbye present from the manager with that ovation opportunity. That's not by accident.
Yeah. So Henry, with all due respect, and you watch every day, and we really appreciate it, but if you believe that, you're not paying attention, because it's not us. It's not us saying this. It's literally Nolan Arenado saying, I'll do whatever I need to do to help them move me.
Yeah. So here's the thing that I would say for Henry, and this is not picking on you, buddy. We appreciate you because you're with us every day, and we love that. But I want to say this because a lot of people need to get their heads around it. You can stomp your feet all you want. You're still going to have to eat your broccoli. And eating your broccoli means accepting the fact that this is going to be a rebuild for at least a couple years. Now, I would agree with Henry in the sense that I don't think it needs to be a 5-year deal. That's not what I'm talking about. But your closing thing is fans come to see Nato, Wilson, and Sonny. They didn't come this year. They did not come this year. This was the worst attended season in recent history. And the reasonable thing to do right now is to set yourself up for long-term success and stop chasing the dragon.
I agree.
I mean, that's it.
Henry, at some point this offseason, these guys aren't. Now, maybe something happens and they don't work out a deal with Gray. Right.
You never know.
I think it's a 99% chance that Nolan Arenado is gone. I don't think it's a 99% chance that Sonny Gray is gone.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I leave the door open for him possibly still being a Cardinal next year. But at some point in time, some of these very uncomfortable things are going to happen. And instead of us sitting here and arguing whether or not they're going to happen or not, at that point, we're actually going to be able to deal with it. I don't like having fruitless conversations, Kevin, where we're talking about whether or not something should or should not happen when it almost assuredly is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, the rebuild is happening. It is. If you've not been paying attention, it is happening. This year was almost kind of an assessment, right? If they had been better this year, maybe they would have gone a different route. But I think we had too many negative answers to a lot of the questions that they needed to have answered. And it means that it's not going to be as quick as we wanted to. Look, man, I don't want to cover a team that's rebuilding. I want to cover a team that's going to be pushing for the playoffs. I don't want to root for it. I get it, man. We're all fans. We all want the team to be good, but there's reality and there's fantasy. And it's just not a video game. It's not a fantasy team. This is a necessary part of running a franchise. And just look around baseball. Every team has done it. The Red Sox have done it. The Yankees have done it. The Mets have done it. The Dodgers did it for a long time before they started spending $400 million a year. So sometimes the crappy, annoying thing is necessary, and we'll keep on going through this. By the way, we're not going to keep talking on Sonny, but I do want to talk a bit about the rotation, if he's moved and what is available. And we may see one of those guys this weekend. We may see Kyle Leahy get a little bit of a short start on Sunday, depending on what they want to do. And we should also bring this in. We got a couple of questions coming in. What about Wilson? Because we really haven't talked about him. So we'll do all that coming up next. It's the Redbird Rush Hour. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you on KMOX.
Be part of the moment as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra returns home to Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center.
At the Merrimack River Bridge. So you do have some delays west of Highway 270 out to that accident scene. Looks like the volume is getting through that incident there eastbound on Highway 30 at the Merrimack River Bridge. That was reportedly a rolled over dump truck or rolled over cement truck. Westbound on Highway 64, you're busy out of the city, passing Forest Park in pockets. And you've got a incident southbound on Highway 55 just before South Broadway, southbound on 55 in that roadwork zone. South of there, you've got a pocket of volume as well. But south of that road construction zone, you're back up to speed, headed towards Highway 270. We're sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. At Penn Mutual, we believe that life insurance is the central part of a sound financial plan and that it can make an enduring impact for generations to come. Talk to your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. Penn Mutual, trusted for life. I'm Frank Ladd in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
This is the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
All right, Thursday on the Redbird Rush Hour, Matt Pauley is at Hot Shots in Fenton. A little soccer night going your way, so we'll have Sports Open Line as a part of that as well, following the first hour, which will be city-focused. And we have a lot of baseball here in this hour. We'll see if we have time for college football. We may or may not, depending on the direction of the conversation. And we got some messages coming in, Matt. And by the way, I didn't mention this earlier. You reminded me on text. But, yeah, we are definitely talking about Jordan Walker coming up in a little bit because that is a real problem. It is a real problem, and I don't know that there's an easy answer. I know the easiest thing is you don't just give up on the player, but it's a bad situation right now. We're going to talk more about that coming up in a little bit. So quickly, Matt, let's hit a couple other things. One, we got a question from Tommy I think is a really good one. We're talking about Nolan Arenado because he was very publicly talking about the likelihood that he could be elsewhere. Sonny Gray obviously has done that. We haven't heard anything like that about or from Wilson Contreras. So to your question, Tommy, he said, what about Contreras? Are they going to try to trade him? Don't know. It's really going to be based on what they hear from him.
Yeah, the last time Contreras talked about this, he said that he still felt like there were things he has yet to accomplish in St. Louis, that he came here to do some things and he hasn't done them yet. Now, I guess it's kind of easy to say that when everybody's sticking around, but if all of a sudden Nolan Arenado's not around anymore, and then they move on from Sonny Gray, and Sonny Gray is openly talking about the fact that he's willing to be moved, I think maybe Contreras changes his take on that, and maybe he becomes available. I also think from a making up for him perspective, the roster would fit okay. Like you move him, and all of a sudden Alec Burleson is your first baseman, and it's not a huge step down from an offensive standpoint. Not that I wouldn't love to have Wilson Contreras continue to be a Cardinal, but I would certainly think there's going to be a conversation with him if he wants to double down on staying as a Cardinal, or if he wants to revisit maybe being traded.
Yeah, it'll be one of the things I'm sure that Chaim Bloom and his people are going to want to figure out early, right? You want to figure out what his intentions are, and if he wants to stay, I think you need him. I mean, you don't have many right-handed bats of quality. You need that bat. So if he sticks around, and you need pitching too, but if he sticks around, that's okay. And if Sonny wants to stick around, that's okay too. The only one that's not okay, and I'm not trying to pick on Nolan, it's just that he's more in decline than the other two, and you have other guys that play infield positions. So, it's a little more challenging there, and it's mostly about the rapid decline, the rapidity of the decline. Sonny has really not declined. Wilson has really not declined, but Arenado has, and that changes that dynamic as great as he's been.
I would also argue that it's time to get Arenado on a team where he can win a World Series.
That's a good point too. Yeah, for his own legacy and career. Cole Bassett's left foot jumped in and says, as a Cards fan, being told it's a 3-year rebuild is like a Tinder date saying I'm emotionally available in 2028. And he says it's a Tinder date. And I'm telling you this, Cole. Again, love you, brother. You're with us every day. This is not being mean. Building relationships with fans is not a Tinder date. It's building a marriage because you want it to be long term. You want fans to be fans for life. You're not trying to get them out for a date and whatever follows. You're trying to get them to commit and be fans for long periods of time. So you cannot compare the efforts of a pro sports team building to a fan base to a Tinder date, which is by nature brief and starting off with just a one-night commitment.
I can't really comment on Tinder dates. I've been married too long.
But I know what it is. Oh, yeah, dude.
Exist.
I mean, literally been off the market since 1991. So let's be honest. But I know what a Tinder date is. I mean, you're meeting someone quickly for the first time, and the idea is just to go, say, hey, do we have anything in common? Do we want to, keep doing this or not? But that's not what this is when you're building a team. You're building a marriage.
And this is still a passionate, engaged fan base. Just because people didn't show up to Busch Stadium and the numbers that I mentioned this a few times, because when we had Anouk Durante, the team's president for business operations, on, he mentioned that ratings are up across the board. TV ratings are up.
Yeah.
We know that our radio ratings do very good.
Yeah, they're up.
Baseball.
They're big.
It is, people didn't show up to the ballpark for other reasons that we have talked about way too much. But that is not a sign of a disengaged fan base. It's a sign of other things.
Right. But again, you're building a long-term relationship, or should I say maintaining one?
Yeah.
Right. This is like asking your wife out on a Tinder date. Like, that's stupid. You would never do that. You'd never, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a much bigger thing than that. So you can't treat it like we need immediate results. That's not what it is, because if you chase that, it doesn't end well. And we've watched that happen for the last 4 or 5 years. They've been chasing the dragon, and it doesn't work.
That's what they did when they signed Kyle Gibson and Lance Lynn. And like in the very moment you looked and you said, okay, they make the roster better. But when you really took a step back, that was a really negative thing for the organization, because it didn't make them better from a long-term perspective, and you didn't accomplish your
It wasn't good enough.
goals.
Yeah, good point. That's Matt Pauley. He's at Hot Shots in Fenton. I'm Kevin Wheeler, downtown St. Louis at our KMOX studio. We got more coming up. In fact, next up, we're getting into Jordan Walker, because as I noted earlier, it's a real problem that they're going to have to deal with. I don't know that there's a good answer, but we got to talk about it coming up next here on KMOX.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people
Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
You're listening to the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
All right, it's Thursday on the Redbird Rush Hour. Matt Pauley's at Hot Shots in Fenton. And Matt, why don't you tell everybody why you're there?
Yeah, we've got the soccer showcase coming up at 6 o'clock from an on-air perspective. Jen Siess will be with me from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, and then Tomas Ostrox from City SC. He's going to join us for about a half hour on the radio, and then he's going to be here to sign autographs and take pictures and hang out with folks all the way until 8 o'clock this evening. So come on out here, enjoy yourself. Like I said earlier, soccer practice gets done for the kids. Bring them out here. I know it's a school night. We got a text message earlier saying, Matt, it's a school night. What are you asking us?
Yeah.
Bring your kids out.
You're only out there till 8?
Yeah, it's not. It's fine. It's fine.
You're not out there till 11.
I can do that.
All right, I want a couple things. We're going to do talking about Jordan Walker here in a second,
Okay.
but we got a couple messages I wanted to throw in here that I thought were. This first part's funny because Matt sends us a message that says, "Isn't chasing the dragon a heroin user term?" Because I said that twice earlier. But then I'm going to let Cole Bassett's left foot give the answer because this is it. He said it's a vivid, haunting metaphor that's since been adopted to more broadly describe the pursuit of an elusive high or thrill. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. You're chasing the nostalgia of the past. That's what I mean. It's not a literal. We're not talking literal. Like when I say, man, we're killing it today, I don't mean we're killing anything. It's not a literal thing, man. It's a figure of speech to make a point. They are chasing that feeling of what they had in the past, but it's failing because they're doing things the wrong way.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what that
show
is.
just took an interesting left turn.
I know. I was like, I felt like I had to get to that because it was like, come on, man, it's not that crazy. But I think that, this hard part, Matt, this is going to be a hard thing, as we get into this off season. That like Cardinals fans, you just have to accept reality. We're not living in a fantasy world.
Yeah.
This is a team that is in need of some rebuilding and hanging on to older star players, unless they want to stay, which is fine. Again, if any of those guys want to stay with Sonny and Wilson and all that, that's fine. But this is not this. You're not in the stage where those guys are going to sell tickets for you, or you're going to win enough to manage just standing pat and staying business as usual.
We can all go outside, Kevin, and look up the sky and start yelling at it and telling it, hey, don't storm, don't storm, don't storm. But it's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing here. When people say, oh, they should not trade Nolan Arenado, this is a terrible, you can say that, you can believe it, but it doesn't change the fact of the matter that it's going to happen in all likelihood, strong likelihood.
Yeah. I mean, look, again, you're not going to find franchises out there that haven't done this.
Yeah.
They don't exist. I mean, you name it. Name a successful franchise. The Phillies went through it. The Braves went through it. Mets, Yankees, Dodgers. I mean, the problem here, and it's a good problem in a sense that the Cardinals had so much success that's the expectation level. And the point is you're trying to get back to that, but the path that they've been following is not working.
So make it work. And they started the process this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point. And the new guy is in charge as of Monday, right? That change that everybody's been talking about is happening. It doesn't happen overnight. And if you think you're just going to spend your way out of it, that's kind of how they got into this mess to begin with.
Because they're not the Mets. They're not the Dodgers where if they spin their way out of it, they can actually.
Yeah.
But even the Mets, when the Mets tried to spin their way out of something, it did not work.
The Mets have 3 more wins than the Cardinals, and they have a $340 million payroll.
But I'm going back to when they brought in Max Scherzer. When they did
and
that.
Verlander and all that. Yeah.
They had the largest payroll basically in the history of baseball, and it didn't get them into the playoffs.
No, believe me, you want to be more like the smart teams, not just the team. And by the way, the Mets figured out they needed to be smarter. So they hired David Stearns. All right, let's get a quick check of traffic. We'll tell you what's happening in and around downtown St. Louis with our buddy Frank Ladd. And then after that, we'll pick it up on the conversation with Jordan Walker.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
And we're sponsored by Anderson Hospital. Still seeing stop-and-go traffic, essentially almost stopped now. Northbound on Highway 270 between 55 and the accident at Gravois. Just the two left lanes are squeaking by there. Southbound Highway 270 drivers, you are stop-and-go in long stretches now between Highway 64 and Gravois. Also a crash southbound on Highway 55. The right two lanes are blocked at Potomac. That has you backed up to Highway 44. I'm Frank Lett of the MichaelScoringoutlet.com Traffic Center.
Serving the Metro East region with excellence, Anderson Hospital is proud to be named one of Newsweek's World's Best Hospitals for 2025. Experience world-class care close to home. AndersonHospital.org.
All right, diving back into the Redbird Rush Hour. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. All right, we got to talk about Jordan Walker. Another bad night last night. And this is not about last night. This has just been about a continuing trend from a young player that you were hoping to see a lot more from, and we've seen actually just nothing but regression. The defense has regressed. His offense is worse than last year. Everything's worse than last year. He was maybe it's not entirely. It's similar though, but his offense is definitely worse than last year, and everything has regressed really since the end of 2023.
I was so frustrated with him last night. And I know there's been lots of reasons to be frustrated. I know you said we're not talking about last night, but last night's a microcosm.
Yes.
So let's talk about last night for a second. I actually sent our text group the video at one point where he took a 93 mile per hour flat middle fastball and just stood there and watched it. Mm-hmm. That was frustrating. He let a fly ball just go into the palm of his glove and just drop down for an error, and then that helps result in a run scoring, and you lose by 1 run. That's frustrating. Yeah. The entire defense in the outfield wasn't very good yesterday, but Walker had that play. Yeah. And then he grounds into that double play. You get the leadoff hitter in the 9th inning with Paez. Paez comes through. He does his job. You can't ground into a double play in that situation. And I know those things happen sometimes, but you just put all those things together. And I was so frustrated with Jordan Walker last night.
Now, the question is, what do you do, right? I mean, the one thing, as we've said a million times about different players and different issues, is the one thing you can't do is the same damn thing you've been doing. Yeah. Like, you can't just come in here next year and roll out the balls and the bats in spring training and like, here you go, Jordan, you're the right fielder. I think the way to position this to him is you need to make this team next year. You need to show us in the offseason and in spring training that you can make meaningful changes on offense and defense. And if not, you're not going to make the team.
Okay, so I want to preface this with something because we always get messages. I bet some have already come in if I go look at the text line. People say, trade him, move on from. No, you don't
trade this low, man.
No, the dude makes less than $1 million.
Yeah.
And if he ever puts it together, and I don't know if he's going to, but if he ever puts it together, he can be a superstar player. He has all the underlying things that he can do that shows that he can be a superstar player. It is worth spending the $800,000 or whatever you're paying him to keep him in the organization and to continue to try to chase him. We were talking about chasing the dragon earlier, trying to chase him into being a really good ball player. So if that's your take on this, that's not the right take. He is worth keeping in the organization.
Yeah.
But Kevin, I am dead serious when I say this. You build the roster next year, the Major League roster, without Jordan Walker in mind whatsoever.
Yep.
He is not part of the plans for the Major League roster next season. If he comes into spring, he has a great spring. He's doing the things you've asked him to do. He's not swinging at the low away pitches. Maybe he's actually hitting the ball in the air every once in a while. If he's doing stuff like that and he makes the team out of spring, that's great.
Yep.
But if you have any expectations for Jordan Walker next season, I think you've gone down a really wrong path. And I think you have to be ready to put him at AAA next year and leave him there for a long time.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Walker's, right? So what I'm saying is not about not liking him. I really want him to be good. But again, in 2023, his defensive problems were completely understandable. And they were and I put almost all of that on the team because the team didn't give him enough reps in the outfield in the minor leagues. They just didn't. And he just got thrown into it at the major league level. I get it. That's hard. He's played almost 300 major league games. There's no excuse for the defense to still be bad. No. When you look at a guy whose sprint speed, his speed puts him in the top 15 to 18% of baseball players, but his range is in the bottom 18%. That's somebody that doesn't know how to play the outfield. When somebody has one of the best arms of a position player in baseball, top 4%, but his throwing value is in the bottom 10%, I'm sorry. There's no excusing that. That's not on the team. He's not being taught to do those things incorrectly. He needs to take the reins and do this stuff. And if you can just show me improvement on defense, which is the ultimate controllable thing, that is the most controllable thing that a position player has, is catching the ball and throwing it straight. That to me tells me the player is not doing what he needs to do, because that's not about ability.
He has had 2 straight years working with fantastic outfield coaches.
Absolutely.
He had Willie McGee last year. He had John Jay this year. Those guys are each as good as they come in terms of instructing outfielders. And by the way, he's had a really good hitting coach too. Brant Brown's a hell of a hitting coach. Great hitting coach.
Well, I mean,
and that hasn't worked either.
No, when you can't tell the difference between a ball and a strike, you can't hit. And that's not about a hitting coach.
Right.
I'm sorry, it's not. That's a player who's not doing what he needs to do. When I combine that with the defensive shortcomings 3 years after moving to the outfield, that's not on the team or the coaches. That is on the player to do the job. And and that's where I'm with you 100%. This is how you position it. We had somebody mention it. I've done it a couple times, but Cole Bassett threw it out there. It's like Spencer Torkelson, right? Tork got sent down last year. He was a number 1 overall pick, 1-1 in the first round. And he was told coming into this year, you have to make the team. And if you don't make the team, you're going to Toledo. Well, he put in the work. He improved his defense, and he's got a 30-homer season under his belt because he did the work. That's how you position it to Walker. You need to go do the work. You need to show us. And if you do, you'll make the team. If not, you can enjoy Memphis.
Yeah, that's where it's at. And he's got a – is he motivated? We never hear these stories about him being the gym rat kind of guy.
We hear about Mason Wynn.
Yeah.
They came up together. They're about the same age. Wynn's actually a little younger, right?
Yeah. Wynn is the run through the wall guy, and Walker's not there yet.
Well, I think it's a telling thing when your entire game stinks. Right?
Yeah.
You're not a good base runner. You're not a good defender, and you can't tell ball from strike. That's not coaching. And it's certainly, in his case, isn't physical ability, right?
No,
if I can't do those things, I don't have the physical ability. He does.
He has like Hall of Fame physical abilities. That is what, and yet he's a bottom 5% of all major league player kind of guy. It's beyond remarkable. There's not a word in the English language that can describe the craziness of him having every tool, every skill, everything that you'd want in a baseball player, and just none of it coming through.
Yeah, and again, I'm a big fan of this player. I think he's a good guy, but it's on him, not on anybody else. He needs to put in the work this offseason. All right.
Super good dude. Super good dude.
Absolutely. That's not the question. It's all about performance. You got to do the job in the big leagues. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Stick around. We got one more segment to go on the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coop.
64. Headed out westbound Highway 70 at Zumbo. That accident is clear westbound Highway 64. A great run through St. Charles County, headed out towards Lake St. Louis. I'm Frank Ladd with traffic in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
You're listening to the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
All right, Redbird Rush Hour. I got a few more minutes here. Matt, why don't you do one more time? Give us a tease. What's going on out at Hot Shots in Fenton tonight?
Yeah, we're at Hot Shots in Fenton. If you don't know where that is, it's just off 44, basically at Mraz. And Tomas Ostrak from Siess, he's going to be here. He'll be arriving any minute now, and he'll be with us. Jen Siess will be with me during the 6 o'clock hour, Tomas for about the first half hour. And then at 6:30, Tomas will wrap up on the radio. And we've already got the table set up. You can get autographs, you can get photos, and we'll be doing that all the way until 8 o'clock tonight right here at Hot Shots in Fenton. So come on by, say hello, get yourself a Michelob Ultra, get yourself some food, and enjoy the night.
All right, so we got time for probably one more quick message. Jeff BB25 jumped in on YouTube and said, because we were talking about doing the same thing over and over and you know, not getting a different result. And he said, yeah, kind of like starting Palante every fifth day and expecting better. Yes, exactly, Jeff. He's another one. I'd put him in the Walker category. You got to show me you're better to win a rotation spot next year. That can't be granted, gifted, or assumed. I think he's another guy that's going to have to show through change that he's good enough to do it.
If he's around, we talked about it yesterday, where I really think there's a possibility that he's a non-tender candidate when you look at how much money he could potentially be making.
Could be, but again, this is, you know, to wrap up, and we got about 40 seconds left. But to wrap up, these are that's the bigger theme that we're hoping to see change, right? That
yes,
the things that haven't been working, they try something else, right?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I don't think it's all that complicated. It doesn't mean it's going to work, but like doing the same thing is going to keep getting you the same result. When you try a different path, a different way, you may get something slightly different. So that's how it's going to line up. All right, buddy, have fun tonight. You got 2 hours out there at Hot Shots in Fenton. You got the St. Louis Soccer Showcase for the first hour, Sports Open Line for the second hour, and we will talk again tomorrow after the ball game, brother.
A quick plug, Patrick Anderson, Springfield Cardinals manager, after they won the
great.
Texas League Championship yesterday. He's going to be on with us at 7:20 tonight, so Cardinals fans will definitely want to be tuned in for that.
All right, Matt Pauley with more after the 6 o'clock news here on KMOX.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is
planning, including probate. Maybe you have your estate documents completed, but a nursing home could be in the future for you or a loved one. Yansky Law can help with pre-crisis and nursing home planning as well. Martin Yansky has 30 years of experience, young or old. You love your family and want to make sure that your wishes happen or help them ensure theirs do, call Yansky Law at 314-861-4141 or online at yanskylaw.com. That's with a J, J-A-N-A-Y law.com. Again, J-A-N-A-Y law.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisement.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want to boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visit, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand name at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renner Garage Store knows how to bring joy to. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today.
Giddy up!
KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra and their monumental tour, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, to Enterprise Center December 23rd at 3 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. A portion of the proceeds benefits sight and kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. And right now, Trans-Siberian Orchestra is offering their lowest ticket price in years, starting at $55, including fees, only for a limited time. For more info, KMOX.com/events. If you are IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDRURYLaw.com.
All hands were on deck.
Traffic from the MichaelsFloorandOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Still seeing delays northbound on Highway 270 approaching the accident at Gravois. The good news is 3 left lanes are getting by. The bad news is those delays stretch all the way back to Highway 55 in South Dakota.
5 o'clock, he's like, are you good?
Southbound Highway 270,
oh yeah, he's in.
A little better for them. Just stop and go now between Big Bend and
he
Gravois.
He's like,
south of there,
okay.
he would run
Like,
all the way down to 55. It's opening up southbound 55 as well. To that earlier accident at Potomac, westbound 64, stop and go from Kings Highway to McCausland. In the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Working with kids. Why my kid who should be a stud is not
Update on the deadly Dallas ICE facility shooting.
nice to see you again. Yeah.
Report on January's aerial
I'm good.
wildfire.
I'm out. Yes, I was really into that.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Breaking news: former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted on 2 charges. One count of making false statements and another of obstruction of justice. Attorney General Pam Bondi's indictment reflects the Justice Department's commitment to holding those who use accountable for misleading the American people. President Trump saying his Chinese counterpart approves signs an executive order okaying a deal to keep TikTok operating under U.S. ownership, avoiding a ban. It still needs regulatory approvals from both countries. Vice President J.D. Vance.
This deal really does mean that Americans can use TikTok, but actually use it with more confidence than they had in the past, because their data is going to be secure and it's not going to be used as a propaganda weapon against our fellow citizens.
CBS's Kelly O'Grady.
They are going to retrain the algorithm that is going to be, there's going to be a copy that's made, transferred over into a new American joint venture, and that's going to house the U.S. TikTok operations. That's really important, just the U.S. operations.
Cloud computing firm Oracle, led by CEO Larry Ellison, would provide security. Ellison's son, David, is the chairman and CEO of Paramount, a Skydance Corporation, which is the parent company of CBS. More details about yesterday's deadly shooting at an ICE facility in Dallas. One detainee was killed and 2 others critically wounded. CBS's Peter King.
Acting U.S. Attorney Nancy Larson says agents found evidence of a game plan and a vendetta against ICE.
Pauley, my co-host.
A series of notes.
He was targeting ICE agents.
Sorry, Jim.
Says investigators
You'll be sitting here. I got
believe he
you some
acted
water.
alone.
His notes reveal.
I mean, I didn't get
yes,
it.
it was just me, my brain.
Larson says the notes detail a hatred for the federal government. There were no mentions of
He
any
doesn't
agents
tell you
other
anything.
than
He doesn't tell me
ICE.
anything. So I'm like, all right,
News.
A review of Los Angeles County's response to the Eaton and Palisades fires in January finds a series of problems. CBS's Michael Wallace.
The report by a consulting firm says a lack of
of resources and an outdated emergency alert process led to delays in evacuation orders, especially in the Eaton fire, which broke out at night after strong winds already knocked out power. It cites outdated practices and vulnerabilities. The firm also found critical staffing shortages at the Sheriff's Department and Office of Emergency Management.
Stocks closed down on Wall Street. The Dow fell 174 points. NASDAQ down 113. Now this.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boats, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
So my mother is thinking of switching.
And then we'll be
from
online
Verizon
together. He'll be on a different screen.
It sounds too good to be true.
Sorry?
Michael, she's how can those people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money?
So yeah,
I said,
little
wow.
soccer talk.
Go ask
When you
Google
and I
how
do an
much
interview,
Verizon spends on
about stuff.
advertising and promotion.
And we just talked to fans. We were very excited.
Perfect. Me too.
So you'll see him trickled around.
6:03, we've got a sunny sky at 74 degrees downtown at the Arch. Governor Mike Kehoe announces he'll put his signature on a bill to redraw the state's congressional map on Sunday. Map passed on
I wouldn't be surprised if some of the Gallagher kids come
and a
over after
citizen-led
practice.
referendum.
That'd be fun.
I would be very excited.
So yeah, I'm very
The proposed map is rushed and is
What part of town do you live
unconstitutional.
in?
While supporters argue it is better
Central West.
for Missouri's plan.
That's where Indy was located.
To build a light rail connecting North and South City could be abandoned. The proposed green line
with Indy? Michael, behave yourself.
and the ACT president calls KMOX headquarters rather to see the city simplify and let it grow while waiting for a new more inclined to provide federal funding the expansion required.
He's going to take away any this guy was fun. I always remember him in the good way, like he on the way.
I'll tell you what, it was
great. Changes and see what other opportunities come along to make it happen.
Later tomorrow, by-state development will vote on a proposal to instead focus on bus rapid transit to replace the light rail.
I couldn't decide who had the quick
St. Louis Inc. has aimed
Indy said it was him.
Ron Kitchen has been
Of course he did.
new CEO of Missouri and graduate of Missouri State University. The press release from Greater St. Louis Inc. comes from Texas, where he led their Chamber of Commerce and Industry. His bio says he helped bring the three largest private sector investments to Wichita Falls. Kitchens is well-traveled, having worked in economic development for 30 years in Michigan and Alabama, along with Texas and Missouri. The timing of Kitchens' selections comes as the city wrestles with how and where to spend the Rams settlement money. That major downtown hotel. He's set to begin his role as CEO in November, nearly a year after the search began. Sean Malone, KMOX News. Let's get to Frank Ladd at the traffic center.
All lanes are back open now, Michael, headed northbound on Highway 270 in Gravelway. That's the good news. The bad news is you still have stop-and-go traffic all the way back to Highway 55. Out of the city, westbound on Highway 74, stop-and-go now. Make your way past Kings Highway out to McCaws. I think it's a sunshine slow down there. I'm not seeing any issues on the highway. Still some delays headed eastbound on Highway 64, passing Highway 170.
That's what I say.
And still pockets of iron southbound on Highway 270 south. And from the bracing in between Big Bend and 34. We're sponsored by Jerry Kelly and Plumbing. I'm Frank Ladd on the mic.
Jerry Kelly swings next day installs no matter how late you call. Because they work later every day, they're faster when your equipment just needs fixing too.
That's MVP material.
Yep, simple fix or a full install, nobody.
Yeah. It's very nice, man. I really like it too.
You like it? Okay,
I like it too. I have to, right?
You have to.
Here in the Midwest and here in St. Louis, clear sky. Excellent.
I have 4 children.
The overnight low on Friday. Plenty of sunshine. It's a beautiful day on Friday. The high in the 70s.
They have soccer practice.
Clear skies 59.
They did not.
Mild to warm in the afternoon. A really nice morning. Looking for a high of 84
So Matt's a
degrees.
baseball guy.
His
little daughter
clear
is
skies. Evening temperatures in the 70s.
First grade.
1 for the overnight low, and on Sunday,
We're converting
sunny.
him to soccer.
Yeah.
Meteorologist Dave Murray.
We'll teach
1 FM.
all the rules.
Sunshine and 74 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
This is the City Soccer Showcase.
That's St. Louis City Soccer, baby!
Sponsored by Michelob Ultra, Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill, and Together Credit Union on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We come your way live from Hot Shots in Fenton. My name is Matt Pauley. Jen Siess is alongside. We'll have Thomas Ostrach coming up with us in just a moment or so. Before we get to him, though, we'll tell you what's going to be going on here for the next hour. Hot Shots in Fenton. If you don't know where that is, 44, you get off on Murad, kind of on that front road. Stop on in. And Thomas is going to be here until 8 o'clock. He's going to join us on the radio for a half hour or so. It's about 6:30. And then we've got a table set up where he's going to be signing autographs. He's going to be taking photos. Just hanging out with people. So you can come on out here. You can say hello. It's going to be credit union. All kinds of swag there. Giveaway. We've got some giveaways that we're going to be doing throughout the course of the evening as well. Lots of reasons to get on out here to Hot Shots. I
gotta excuse myself for a moment. I'm not training. I don't have to play 90 plus anymore.
With that, let's bring Thomas into the program. Thomas, thanks so much for being with us today.
Hello, guys. I'm very, very excited to be here. I mean, this place looks amazing. And yeah, I am very excited to be here, guys.
I'm glad that we're talking to you this week because teams playing the best soccer of the year. You look at these last two matches, some one-sided victories. It's coming late in the season, but certainly better than coming late in the
That's how you said it because yeah, we're waiting for that to show some good results, to play some good soccer. And finally, I think we are on the right way, and I think we doing very good. So I hope we're gonna stay on this way and just keep going. So the people and fans can be excited to see us to come again next year. They have some good expectations, and we wanna make them proud. We wanna make them smile. We wanna win. We wanna win every game. So yeah, I'm very happy that we finally found the way to make something.
Yeah, and of course LAFC is coming to town, so they're going to be home and you guys are part. Does it really help you guys when you always talk about the 12th man, the 12th fans? Is that push from your fans really helpful as much as you say it is?
For sure. These fans are amazing. I mean, very, very good. I mean, they always support us no matter what happens. They even if you're down 2-0, they put things so hard and try to give their energy on us, so we to be alive, like just to feel it like from the stands, from the crowd, and I think everybody feels it, and they just gave to every player on the pitch for us, and we can feel it.
As this season was going on, the coaching change, and the style of play changed a little bit, and I think fans thought it was better, but the results weren't coming along. You guys stayed true to what you wanted to do, continue to work hard, and now you're seeing some results right now. How challenging is it to kind of stay that course and know what you're doing the right thing, even when you go out and play on Saturday night, you look for it's not where you want it to be?
No, it was definitely tough because the first half year we played something different, and then we made a change, new coach, new philosophy, new tactics, and it's not going to change like that in the moment. So we know we have to stick to the principle of the coach wants from us, and we have to believe in his philosophy, to understand him. And I think it took time, it took a couple times. And I think right now we stick to his plan, and I think everybody can see it. It is further, it is better. Of course, there are some mistakes, but it's we are going to always, and we are here, right? So, but yeah, we improved for sure, and everybody can see it, and I'm very happy that we stick together as a group, as a unit, and I think fans deserve it. So I am very, very happy that we didn't keep up, and that we still try our best to make our fans happy. And they can see we didn't give up, so we still like trying to fight. different for the fans in St. Louis.
I'm glad you said that because it's a theme I've heard from a couple of players recently, and because there a few weeks ago talked about how proud he was of the group for sticking with it when so much has changed. Like how you deal with that. And Marcel Hartle, Tom Timmerman, we talked to Tom and St. Louis Versus guys before, asked Cello about what to do, what you guys are doing now, what needs to happen. And Cello is direct as you are and said, don't change the staff. Like find what you want and then let us work through that. And that's hard to keep performing when you're walking into the season with a totally different style after you got healed. And then the coaching change, that's hard to be performing at a level when you're constantly dealing with changes all this.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's mentally very, very hard because if you like use some style and then no, all right. All staff changes, new playing styles that everybody has to adjust. And as you said, like, now we have to keep working on that. It will make us better. And I think we will stick with this playing style, the tactics, and just to be on the same page as we are right now, I believe. And the rest of the game. So we've been patient, and I think the patience, I would say, it was like paid off. There you go. Very good.
Your English is better than mine or Matt's too. I'll tell you.
Thank you. As I said, it's paid off, and I mean, amazing. Now we just keep working. We keep working, and I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? I think when you first enter the organization, so you got Bradley and Hacker and Olaf and now Chris. Have you ever taken a step back and just think, wow, 2022
that you got here, especially 30 years in the organization, and you have all these different coaches.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had three coaches because was the first one 2022, MLS Next Pro. So I already knew him from a little bit past. And but MLS I have no experience with him because I was like injured. So but every coach has a different style, own philosophy, So with the Bradley, there was more out pressing. Be on the front foot,
let defense figure out the problems on defense.
Exactly. Like we score always more goals than offense.
That's true.
So it was very successful year for us. 2023 was amazing. We ended up like first in our group. I mean, it was a big success for me. Legacy, I would say. And I just when I remember back in days, wow, what a year. And of course, 2024. That was not a good for me personally because I was injured.
You played like 12 games because you were injured forever.
Exactly. But before that, I felt like very, very good. I felt like, damn.
I know. Because when you came in preseason year, you were at the bottom of the pitch. Everybody was a terrible setup. I love you, City, but terrible to put everybody, all the players on the line. Do not sit Klaus next to Indy, next to. Oh my gosh, I couldn't get any interview done. But what all of them told me was like, who's coming ready? Every single player was like, Ostrok's ready to game. And then I think I went like 12 games or something. You had to like a break.
Exactly. I had some very unlucky years, so that was very big step back. So when I look at the past, it was very tough for me because I had never like this surgery on my legs, ankle, and shoulder. And like you grow and you just you have to take it, nothing else. But just very happy that I'm again healthy and I can be here. I can be on the beach and
no more pain.
There you go. And of course you can feel it sometimes. Sometimes, But I think I already used to it. It's no problem for me.
Very good. We were talking with Tomas Ostrock. We are live at Hot Shots in Clinton. I would love for you to stop by. He's going to stick with us for one more segment, and then he's going to step out to the table where he'll be able to sign autographs and take photos. Folks from the credit union are here. You get yourself a nickel of ultra while you're out here. Get yourself some food from Hot Shots. We've got you taken care of. So go pick up your kids from soccer practice and run on over here to Hot Shots and have we'll take a break. We've got more coming up in just a moment right here on KMOX.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related question.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
So many national team caps from, God, how young were you? U17? You've been living away from your parents since you were 16 years old.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, I have two boys. My 19-year-old, I would not sending him overseas. I love him.
I'll do my spiel and then I'll just kind of stop and use
Okay.
I have some past behind me, so.
How often do you see anybody from your family?
Sorry?
How often do you see anybody from your family?
Once per year, probably.
Oh my God.
Just for 1 month, probably.
Yeah,
and
you
then
talk a lot on the phone.
I talk, of course,
Yes.
I talk. It's like different talk in the phone than.
What's the time change?
7 hours plus 7 hours. So basically, I woke up. I have to go to training, and then when I come from the training, it's already 9 p.m. in Europe. So they're already almost getting sleep. Preparing for sleep. So we have to find out the way and balance sometimes to, speak with the family. So
do you have siblings? You have brothers?
I have my brother.
Brother, right? That's right. Brother.
So I am uncle already.
You are?
I am.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But for long already.
Oh, how long?
10 years.
How old?
10 years.
So 10-year-old.
10 years.
Boy, girl?
It's a girl. It's a boy.
Boy, all right. Yeah. It's so like FC. Did you tell me once we had a team that beat Roman? Did you beat Roman Berkey?
Nah, I don't think so.
Didn't you score some winning goal? You did. You did too. You went on. You subbed on. Hold on.
It was.
I remember this.
No, it was the first FC Köln against Bochum. It was against Edu 11.
Edu.
It was against Edu.
You did Edu's team.
Against Edu.
Timo last week.
Timo was very proud of beating Roman in a previous game at Stuttgart and whatever.
Okay.
But you beat Edu's team.
Edu's team.
Okay.
It was my first year as a professional for.
You
for
like
Cologne.
subbed on and scored the winning goal.
That was my first Bundesliga debut. And,
that's a fun one. Being a little Edu, his first Bundesliga debut, beats Leuven.
I prepared the assist, on I think it was on 2-0. So it was 1-0. I came in, and then I prepared the goal for 2-0.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I can remember that.
Do you ever remind him like I beat you? I beat you.
Yeah, I remember that because in the sequence when I crossed the ball, he like run over, so you can see his face already. So then I realized, I play against you actually. When he arrived the first year.
Do you remember what the score was, Edu? Oh yeah, we won.
Of course, you don't want to remember, but I do.
I love that.
I do.
None of you guys forget that. That's hilarious.
It's crazy.
Everyone. Timo's like, immediately I remind him, we won. It was in the, he told me the minute, he told me what night it was, he told me what time it was. I'm like, Timo.
I think I would say the date as well. I think that was, what was the date? Wait, 28th of August. Thank you.
And Matt, I have an article
Here.
up here
Call 314-628-all-9s or campforentrytrade.com. The choice of the lawyers is an important decision. It should not be based on advertising.
Now, back to the City Soccer Showcase, sponsored by Michelob Ultra, Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill, and Together Credit Union on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We're live at Hot Shots in Fenton. You get on 44. You get on Raz. You got a little shopping plaza right there. Come on in. We are going to be here until 8 o'clock this evening as Thomas Ostrock is here. He's going to join us for 10 more minutes. And then he'll sit down and sign autographs and meet you and everything. Together Credit Union is here. They're giving away lots of stuff. We're going to have some giveaways to Michelob Ultra while you're here. So lots of reasons to stop on by Hot Shots.
Yeah, Fenton, I grew up here. So I grew up right close to Soccer Park, so I know it always has different names, but I always call it Soccer Park. So all you guys who are out at Soccer Park practice, I know there's tons of people at Gallagher just swing on by. You want to make dinner? You want to do dishes? Come here. Get a signature? Get some food? get a beverage.
Might win
Might
something.
drink a raffle. It's me to lots.
There you go.
So I wanted to go back to, I'm thinking of some stuff I've read about. I've talked to you a few times, and I had to go back and realize you've been doing this pro thing since you were 16. So a 16-year-old teenage boy. I have two teenagers that I can't imagine. Well, I have more teenagers, but I have two teenage boys that I can't imagine living that far for that long and being on your own. How is that something that you manage for so long?
I mean, if you have some goal and you go for it, like you give everything to make it happen. And for me, the kind of small dream came true. And I just enjoyed it because I always want to go to Germany to already start young age playing for FC Cologne, But back in days, I remember my mom was like, "Oh, I was like, hell yeah, I want." Bye, mom. Bye, mom. And my father was like, "Yeah, you have to go. Let's go. You have to go." And my mom. But it was very, very, very funny because my father was like, "Yeah, it's good for you, good for career. If you join there, academy, they have some good already good players. You can have some good players, so you can play with or against, So competition, exactly. But I'm very happy that I did it because after that I was responsible for myself. I learned how to cook. I learned how to.
Oh man, I gotta take my teenagers. I have to go live across the sea.
Exactly. How to manage my. Dirty clothes, so I have to wash it in I always tell my mom, please help me how I can do it. I don't want to mess my new clothes, like, can I do white and black together? Depends. No, listen, this, So it was very funny, but a lot of good stories because I had friends, from Macedonia, from Latvia, so it was international. So I had some friends there. So it was pretty exciting that we enjoyed the time together. So it was fun, and I always remember it in the best way.
It's a sacrifice, though. People need to think about it. You're a 16-year-old who's going to see your family essentially once a year, and you're off on your own. And it's not just for 1 year. You're continuing to do that now.
To chase this dream, there was a huge sacrifice that went along with it.
Big sacrifice. And, I remember I cried a couple times, because I felt like, Germany, different language than Czech, I have to learn the German language, English. And I did.
I'm reading in an article that you learned
exactly.
Russian.
So
You can understand Russian.
I can understand Russian as well. I can understand Polish because it's similar, Polish, Slovakia, Czech, similar languages. So because of my friend from Latvia, we spoke Russian, and so he teach me something. Wow, from that point. No, but everybody teach you the first bad words. They did it to me.
Be careful now, we're going to cut them off the air.
Did the FCC fine you for Russian bad words? I don't know. No.
I'm going to bring back to another memory because I put it when we talked. I think the very first time I ever met you, you're just kind of making those connections on who played with who and who played against who. You your team over last week told us all about was very proud of you in a game, but you've beaten another St. Louis City player in a game. What was that?
That was against Pauley against the 11, and that was my actual first Bundesliga appearance. And that was my first Bundesliga appearance. In 5 minutes, I created a goal, and we beat. I think it was 2-1. It was 28 August in 2022, I guess.
Does AJ remember, or does he try to say, I don't know what you're talking about?
I we spoke about that, and he said, I don't know, because we lost, So of course I don't want to call him again. I think he see that. So it was pretty funny, that my first Bundesliga appearance against this guy, and now we play together, So that's pretty, the faith brought us together.
You've been all over. You've been saying for years. What's it like for somebody, a young guy, coming into a new city, whether it's St. Louis or somewhere else, specifically St. Louis, when you walk in here, you don't know many people, and you're trying to establish what is that like for you?
Oh, for me, America was for me like special, like USA was, everybody says, oh, America, we just, be here to enjoy that kind of style, living style, and it's for everybody in the world is very special. So for me, it was like when I get the first stop to the route at the time, that was for me very exciting because it was about the new project, 2023 first MLS season. Like everything's gonna be new. We have such good vision. We wanna like make you play here. We wanna like develop you as a player, as a human, as a person. So for me, it was very exciting. The project was amazing. I'm very happy that I made this decision. And yeah, overall, USA, St. Louis, I cannot say something better.
Maybe the heat. Oh, yeah. I mean, you can say bad things. All right. We all think that.
All right, now, to be honest, because now it's good, but it's very nice it's good again. But the summer is good.
The next August, it'll be like
from June, I think middle of June to middle of August, maybe I would like,
you thought it was too hot to watch. It was like nobody.
I told him, be prepared for the summer. That's really not, I was like, for the summer day. But, and he didn't do it. And now, he's like, he beats you down. Bro, it was fine. He's like that, and I was like, yeah, bro, you should listen. But, yeah, that's very fun. Yeah, we survived, and now,
It is crazy. It's crazy. And if I'm looking back to this, it's an article. Julian Trejo wrote it back when you were. It was earlier times in talking. Indy was still Indiana basketball was still talking about it. Had a great time with Indy at Wendy's. He was a good time, but he talks that you guys were living kind of in the same complex. You were near one another. And he talked about just how much he thought of you as a good person, but also that hey, don't take his soft-spoken nature, because once the competition turns on, Tomas Ostrak can be very outspoken about it. And the team listens to that. What happens when Tomas turns competitive?
I mean, I have just straight look. I don't look left or right. I just go for it, because I hate music. I hate to do this whenever we play, I don't know, darts or ping pong, exactly, darts, ping pong, PlayStation. So I am so sad. So you don't want to speak after such a game in practice, and I love. You have to give me some time, and then maybe you get to. So I
will never ask for an interview with you if you've lost.
Exactly. And then after training, they want to do either. You never know. Never know. And then I like, breathe. And then I good again, because I'm a competitive guy. Seems like when I lost some game, I cry, goes down. Yeah. Okay.
You guys play soccer?
Yeah. He was 8 years old, so I guess he should won. But I don't know. Maybe I remember maybe I won some games, but I think maybe he just let me. I don't know, for good.
That's a nice thing for me.
Last question for me, and not to take too serious, but I got to follow up on something you said. Hating losing is a really good attribute for an athlete.
Exactly.
The team lost a little too much recently. How do you make sure that you continue to hate losing, even when it continues that?
I mean, that hurts. Every hurts. Maybe you guys can see it, but in the locker room or after practice, there are like emotions, a lot of emotions. And you, as a pro soccer player, you just have to manage it, and you have to say, all right, go again. But next week, you will forget, and you say, come on, you have to do better. But you don't. And then you have to say, all right, you have to continue to believe, because it's not that easy. Because, losing, especially me, when I lose, I feel like, damn, I just don't want to lose again. So I want to be mentally prepared, but at the end, when you come home, you just have to wait a bit, switch, move on, you just open the border for a little bit, and the next day you work out, you say, I did everything to make it myself, my teammates, the club, so I can do everything for the city and for our country. I'm able to my desire is to just be better as a club, and as a person as well.
Well, I gotta ask, the last one for me too is 3 games left. I can't believe we're here. It's a long, MLS is a long season, so 3 games left. City's not going to go to the playoffs this year. I know you hate that. You said this actually in an interview that you were really hopeful, and and I'm going to quote you. You said that sucked. You said that sucked when you didn't make playoffs, and I agree with you. So not going to make this year, but what would make these last 3 games something where you can walk away and go, okay, that was good, and we can build on that for next season? What do you want to see from yourself and the team?
For myself, I just want to see us as right now, so as we working in the training, so we believe in the coach, in the staff, and as a process right now, because it's going through some process in the club, because there's loose applications out, and everybody is just like waiting, but it's not our business, so we just keep working on our behaviors, and we wanna end strong to make the best out of it. And this is how we're game right now, as always. And I believe in Saturday it's gonna be a very, very good game, because as I see very good right now, these guys up front
They gotta come here and do it.
Exactly. So they have to be worried, because we are in good shape, So we have some big expectations. We believe in ourselves, and I think it's gonna be very, very good game, and I can wait for it. So very, very happy that Saturday is already a game.
Thomas, thank you so much. Great to know you a little bit. Sorry, it was great to get to know you.
Oh, perfect. I'm happy that I can see you guys here, like the environment and the bar. Is it bar, right? Or bar? How you can say?
It's dinner.
For me, it's you, but I love it. So thank you guys for inviting me, and very happy to talk to you guys and get you know better.
Awesome, very good. That is Thomas Ostrock. He is going to hang out here until 8 o'clock this afternoon. So
stop on by. We're Mike Johnson, Fenton, right off of people. We'd love to get out here. He's going to be taking photos, signing autographs.
Until 8 o'clock this evening, so make sure to stop on by. Jen's not going anywhere. Triple T's going to this hour. Billy coming up in this moment. It's for Soccer Showcase of Hot Shots
right here on KMOX.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families.
From the guy who, when I met you 3 years ago, remember how many times you apologized for your English?
Yeah, maybe, yes.
You're fine. You're really
was it right?
No, my God. And you're talking to spoiled Americans who don't think we have to learn any languages. So
no, perfect.
Truly,
perfect. Sometimes I'm worried, especially in the radio things, so that the people understand me. So whatever I want to say, I hope everybody understood. So
all great.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much. It was fun to talk to you guys.
All right, I'll get you to your table. So I'll take your water.
Yeah,
and then do you need food? Or you?
I mean, I'm good right now.
You're good. Okay, if you do, let us know.
No. Yeah.
What numbers?
1 through 20.
Okay. All right, for folks who have tickets, we'll do tickets numbers 1 through 20. So if tickets 1 through 20, go ahead and we'll make a line right in front of KMOX here. Thanks for coming out, everybody.
What?
Oh, when you talk about he's like, these are the first words I learned. I'm like, I bet you did. Because Indy taught him.
Yeah.
Indy's bad.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Just so you know, Patrick Anderson is going to be calling us today, by the way.
Details.
Fridays mean football. From the zoo to the NFL, we've got your weekend covered. It's Friday football on KMOX.
It's Redbird Sports Overline, not just a Redbird Sports Overline, but it is a soccer showcase. We are
broadcasting live from Hot Shots in Fenton. My name is Pauley. Siess here as well. A lot of fun talking with Thomas.
I enjoy talking with him. He's a lot of fun.
So right now,
some people who are fun to talk to. We're going to bring in Dale Philly.
He's the funnest.
And he does just about everything. And that's City. And you also hear on the Y98 podcast
right now. Dale, always good to talk to you. How are you?
I am good. Thanks for being here.
The team's playing some pretty good soccer right now. Would you say what you've seen maybe these last 2 weeks is their best 2 games that they've put back-to-back this season?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think just in terms of total performance, when you look at the defending side, playing, ball, creating chances, Roman contributing like he did against San Jose, I would say for sure, from a complete package perspective, our best performances.
Dale, one of the things that I like that you do in the pregame show is Dale always come out with three things, three questions about what City needs to do to be successful at match. And usually, all three, if not 2 or 3, Dale has already called out whether they've done it or they haven't. And Dale, you called out the last time of not only keeping San Jose wasn't kept off the board, but City did execute in transition. And you talked also about punishing San Jose for playing a high line. And I just want to call out the scouting that gets done on that. Not only do the players have to execute that, but the coaching staff, which is not just Critchley, it's all the people who come and they look at all that stuff. And it really seems like that part of figuring out how City can relate to their strengths against whatever might work against their opponent is also coming into line as well. Do you feel that as well from your perspective as also a coach?
Yeah. I mean, first off, it wasn't that difficult because they were so pushed high, and whenever we would have possession of the ball, even if we would start the ball in the back and they have a high line, that's one thing. Then you got to play a big ball over top of them, and it's less accurate, gives them a bigger opportunity or more of an opportunity to drop and cover the space behind. But as you move the ball higher up the field and you get closer to that line, most teams will move up that line a little bit to cover the space behind. But San Jose just kept pushing the line higher and higher and holding it. And pretty soon you were 10 yards from their line and you had 40 yards of space behind them. In a situation like that, the game is just calling for you to play the ball in behind them, play a through ball, if you will, old school terms, and try to get a breakaway out of it. And if you don't get a breakaway out of it, at least you've got it for the ball in behind them. You can set up your prep, set up a restart, a situation where maybe you're in a corner kick, that kind of stuff. So From a scouting perspective and from a preparation perspective, that is why you scout. You want to see what the tendencies are from a team, and really the trick is it a tendency or is it a one-off? And you have to determine, what's the trend, what's recurring and happening over and over and over, and what happened in one instant that you have to scratch it off your list and just look for other trends. But it's an important part of your preparation for sure.
It's interesting listening to ask that question, something I've never asked. Being familiar
with baseball, football, and basketball, showing how those professional teams have so many scouts and have departments that are just completely committed to data and analytics and things like that. Can you tell our listeners, and anyone for that matter, what it looks like from a soccer perspective and from a city perspective to see the infrastructure that exists to be able to get those things done?
Yeah, so it's interesting because, 5 years ago, probably even less, having a data analyst was a foreign situation. Now, I would go overseas and visit organizations and clubs, and they would have complete video departments, and they would have groups that were cutting up video both from a individual player development perspective and from a team perspective for coaches, but they didn't have data. But now in City's situation, in the academy level, I have a video analyst that has been dabbled in the data side. I have coaches that are somewhat familiar on the data side because of the work that we've done with some other data analysts over the years. The second team has a committed video analyst that does data work as well, specifically just for that team. And the first team has both a data analyst and a video analyst to help Critch out. And Critch is pretty analytical himself. I mean, he believes in the numbers, as you can tell from his post-game conferences and whatnot. But yeah, that's the structure. And to be fair, that's probably a little light. He probably needs a couple of video analysts, maybe another data analyst just to get all the information that he needs from a game perspective. Like at halftime, they'll come down into the locker room. Let me take a step back. During the game, Chris may say to the data analyst up in the press box or to one of the assistant coaches, tell the data or the video analyst to flip that. And then they'll come down, the video analyst will come down at halftime with 6 or 7 video clips. Chris will go through them real quick before he has to talk with the team, pick 3 or 4 of them out, and then review those clips with the team at halftime before they go back out onto the field and talk about how this can't happen or how we want to see this happen again for the second half.
Yeah, half 15 minutes have happened really fast. I definitely want to look ahead to LAFC. City's got 3 games left, as Chris said, 9 points to grab. But LAFC, when you look at that, another team that's doing pretty good right now. If Denny Bouanga wasn't already a force to be reckoned with, it seems like his partnership with Son Min from Tottenham is just really the talk of the town right now. How I think it's exciting also if you're just a soccer fan to look at that. Denny Bouanga is a guy who could go 92 minutes and still do a flip and scores a goal. He doesn't ever seem to slow down. You got Son Min, everybody's excited that Korean fans are excited. What are the fans going to see in this version of LAFC, and how does City be successful against them if possible this weekend?
Yeah, I would just say that normally when you have to bring a guy on that's of fun quality, it usually disrupts the team for a bit until they figure out their way. And usually when you have a guy like Bouanga and him together as front runners, there's not enough soccer balls on the field for the two of them to play at the same time. But this is the complete opposite. They've meshed quickly. The team has changed the system from a normal 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 system to a 3 center back system, like a 3-5-2, if you will, from the old days. And those two, Son and Bouanga, playing up front together, each one of them is faster than the other, super skillful. They've had 3 consecutive hat tricks over their last 3 games. They haven't goals in their last 3 games. They are firing, and Yes, Stone is just so athletic, so good with the ball, can score from distance, can combine to get in, can run past you. Very, very difficult. They were tough enough with Longa coming in from the wing. Now they have two guys attacking centrally. Wow, what a chore we got for us this weekend. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, Dale Julia here on the broadcast coming up on Saturday. LAFC, all their star power coming into St. Louis and Energizer 7:30 for the start. And you can hear it again on our sister station, Y98.
Dale, thanks always for the time.
Not traveling, no, we take it real soon.
Thank you.
Very good. That's Dale Shilley joining us.
As we are live right now, Hot Shots and Vincent, if you've been with us, you heard us
talking with Tomas Ostrak earlier. He right now is talking with people and taking photos and signing autographs. If you want to meet Tomas, you can just come on out here to and say hello. You're getting yourself food.
That's all we did.
You want a beer? Yes.
Order up, please.
Hour number one right here on KMOX.
We started Neovite because we wanted to create a multivitamin for ourselves. That's why we focus on quality ingredients and formulas with our multivitamins. Neovite 50 Plus multivitamins are formulated with over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our 4-ingredient physician-formulated proprietary blend for the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovite 50 Plus multivitamins a try for yourself. Find them at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovite.com.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about my friends at i3 Broadband. They are the internet service provider in my home. I'd love for you to be the internet in your home as well. A bunch of reasons why. First off, they're incredibly reliable. You're not going to deal with all those outages you got some of the other providers. In fact, everything's underground. The way it works out is they come in, they lay the line down. A couple of days later, they come down, they bury it, and you're good to go from there. And just a little you don't have to worry about knocking you out. It's going to knock you out. I'm spending a lot less money now versus what I had earlier. I have the 2 gig package. That means 2 gigs upload, 2 gigs download. For example, they didn't even offer that as far as I know. They didn't offer when I had them. And they don't care about the download speed either. So there's so many reasons that I recommend the internet service provider at your home. Find out all the details. They're continuing to add more neighborhoods throughout the St. Louis area. So put your address in. Maybe they've added new neighborhoods recently. They are very busy doing that. Again, check them out online on the website, i3broadband.com.
Soul on Fire, the inspiring new movie about St. Louis's own John O'Leary. He's coming to the big screen. His story of
All right, folks, we are ready to do another ticket group. So if you have tickets numbers 20 through 40, so up through 40, if your ticket is up through 40, feel free to hop in line. So tickets up through 40. Thank you.
Not a bad crowd tonight. Not a bad crowd.
No, this is pretty good. I'm hoping, like what I thought last time would happen, didn't because it's on home. But I'm really hoping soccer park is right there.
Yeah.
There is no excuse not to be here. STL Athletic is there too. It's in a big old warehouse.
Yeah.
And kids are there. Trust me, I know. Thursday night soccer practice. It's fun to see some of the regulars too.
Yeah.
People come every time. I'm impressed.
Got it. Thank you.
First, you can trust. Get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
Now, back to the City Soccer Showcase, sponsored by Michelob Ultra, Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill, and Together Credit Union on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Continuing to broadcast from Hot Shots and Fitness on 34, you get on Morazan.
Mine did, yeah. Well, they kind of just give your soccer bar. Find a way down the road.
Yeah. Put it in your GPS.
That's what I did.
I'll tell you how to get you. There you go. You just, so yeah, that's how you do it. Thomas is continuing to autograph and take photos. He's going to do that for the next hour and 10 minutes or so, until 8 o'clock this evening. I love these guys' stories and just the idea of like leaving home at the age of 16 and seeing your family once a year. Right, for year after year after year after year. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
I might still call me and they're in town. I don't know. He calls his parents every night. What a good boy.
I can imagine like, going to college at 18 was challenging enough, and I was 5 hours away. I could drive home whenever I wanted to. So it was, just that part of sports sometimes, especially soccer, is really interesting. I found it interesting this week, speaking of stuff that there seems to be this concerted effort by a number of players to basically say Richley needs to be the head coach moving forward. That was a narrative that we heard from a lot. Yeah. I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't know if they got together in the locker room and said this needs to be a message that we get out. But I heard it from a lot of individuals, and I think that speaks volumes.
I think it's too. There will be fans that would prefer to get somebody already seasoned with whatever kind of experience, right? But everything to me starts somewhere. Everybody has a beginning, and I'm a Critch fan. I've always said that. I like what he does with the players. I like how he talks to us and media, and he makes our job really easy. He's very frank and to the point. He can dance around questions, and also doesn't have answers he can't, right? For the game. But I really think he's one that not only do trust him tactically, they also trust him that he is. He may not get the start, he might not get it, but he is still has the best interest in you as a player and furthering your development.
It was a waste that last year they played so well under Hackworth and then brought in Olaf. Lord knows what. You can't do that. I realize I heard a million people. You don't want to buy in on short-term gains to not have a long-term plan. But you just be repetitive and a while, and then I'll, you know what, we'll go do something else. We'll go do something wacky.
Yeah.
That's a lot more than wacky high.
Again, if we talk about the pendulum swung all the other way, it wasn't just a little bit off, it was all the way off. We know that. So you're right. They have to get it right on the coaching, and they have to get it right on the sporting director, because you need those working right in tandem and making sure that, as I think Marcel Harwell, said it was not to, don't change it.
Yeah.
Make choice, and let's work with it, and not to have some consistency for the players means a lot.
So that creates just a really weird dynamic, because you have a guy in Critchley who's seemingly doing a really good job. I don't know what they're going to hire.
It's like,
Right. Yeah, that's the weird thing. And Critchley just sitting in limbo for a while either.
It's just they did to themselves.
That's right. And I think the fans here deserve them to get this one right.
Yeah, and then we give the players a chance to truly prove to a system that doesn't consistently change. And then we can judge the players, I think, a little bit better.
And as much as I would appreciate players saying, I'll say this too. If the next sporting director doesn't believe in Critchley, you can't keep Critchley, because you have to have the sporting director has to have confidence in whoever that next coach is.
100%. Yeah. So it is kind of one of those chicken and the egg. Which one comes first? We know what typically happens, but is it going to happen that way for City? I don't know. I don't know how close that search is.
Yeah, it's
I'm just complaining about stuff.
It's so dumb that they're the
It's
second to last game
a week off, and then they play the last. If your season's
just about over, and
you're going to make people sit through an off week before you play the final game.
Yeah, there's an MLS thing, and then for a lot of these guys, they'll take those opportunities to go home. They'll take those opportunities to get as quick as they can. Like teams can stay on 10 for their head child, but some of them will go and they just take But come on out and have a great time.
Yeah, I think you play too often.
If you want me to. I'm not defense stuff. Tomas is going to be signing up for us for the next hour or so. We've got to shoot to the standard sports open during that 7 o'clock hour. We'll talk lots of Cardinals baseball. Coming up, this is a our sports online on KMOX.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Our office computers were from like 2012.
What? They had computers then?
Yeah, I don't know much about new tech.
Apparently.
So I went to Staples and saved big on an AI-powered HP laptop and HP OfficeJet Pro printer with
in-store, online, and on the app. Until 11/1, select models only.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage
A little warm for this time of year with the high of 84. Tomorrow, rather Saturday night, clear sky. Evening temperatures in the 70s, low 61. Right now, 71 downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Welcome to the Strike Zone, presented by Gray Bar. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. On the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We do welcome you in. It's hour number 2 of a Gray Bar Sports Open Line. We've got all kinds of things going on tonight. We are continuing to broadcast live at Hot Shots in Fenton, just off of 44. Would love to see you out here. Tomas Ostrak from Siess, he is going to be here signing autographs, taking photos, talking with you. That's going to go on up until the end of this hour. While you're here, you can get a bunch of swag from the folks at Together Credit Union. You can get yourself a Michelob Ultra. You can have dinner at Hot Shots. They've got a great menu. I was just, I'm going to order something here in just a little while, but they've got great food. So lots of reasons to stop on by. I keep saying this, but, Soccer Park is just down the road. Parents, you're picking up your kids from soccer practice. Make a quick pit stop here at Hot Shots. Say hello to Tomas, and then have dinner here, and then you don't have to worry about doing dishes tonight. So everybody, when it comes to that, is a winner. We'll be talking a lot of baseball here in this hour. I'm excited here in about 13 minutes or so at 7:20. We are scheduled to be joined by the manager of the AA Springfield Cardinals, Patrick Anderson. Last night, the Springfield Cardinals won a Texas League championship. Really impressive. It's a best-of-3 series. They played a game in Springfield on Sunday and lost that game, so they went to Midland, down 0-1 in the series, needing to win back-to-back road games. Game 2, they were down, I think they were down 3-0 in game number 2, and they came back to win that one, and then they just absolutely destroyed them last night. And I've said this a few times, but I'll continue to repeat it. Look, winning minor league championships in baseball, it's not an end-all, be-all sort of thing, but we are in a spot right now when it comes to the Cardinals that things are in very much flux. We're in a transitional period, and they are changing what they are doing in the minor league system. They brought in Rob Serfolio to oversee player development. He brought in a whole bunch of people. They're obviously all going to be working for Chaim Bloom. Chaim has been very hands-on in the minor league system here leading up to his tenure as the president of baseball operations. I like the story. I like the narrative. I like the illustration of the team having a championship season in the first year that the new guard took over player development. If it wouldn't have happened, it would be fine, but it's just nice. It's nice to have that, and it's cool that the wonderful folks in Springfield, Missouri have a Texas League championship. So we'll be talking about that a little bit more coming up in just a while. Obviously, last night was the night where the Cardinals were mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. Nobody had thoughts of grandeur, not nobody, but people who were using as much common sense as possible did not have the thoughts of grandeur that the Cardinals were not going to, lose another game this year, and that the Mets weren't going to win another game, and the Reds weren't going to win another game, and the Diamondbacks weren't going to win another game, and somehow the Cardinals were going to find their way into the playoffs. Have crazier things than that happened in the history of baseball? Sure. But hope is not a strategy, and that was incredibly unlikely to happen. And any mathematical possibility for them to be in the playoffs officially came to an end last night. I was bummed that it happened on a game that the Cardinals should have won. The Cardinals should have won last night. And when I was talking about this with Kevin Wheeler earlier on Redbird Rush Hour, he very quickly pointed out to me, well, yeah, but there's been some games here recently. The second game of the Giants series, that's not a game that the Cardinals should have won. That was an incredible comeback. That's a once, twice a year sort of comeback that they had. And that's a valid point by Kevin, but I don't really care in that moment. What I do care about is the Cardinals lost a game last night that they shouldn't have lost, or at the very least, they lost a game last night in a style that you felt like they gave it away because there were just way too many mistakes that were made. There were 3 errors committed. There was Victor Scott II diving play that he missed on the dive, and all of a sudden a single turns into a triple, and that breaks a 3-3 tie, and that's what ends up driving in the winning run. I don't like the illustration of how they got officially eliminated from the playoffs last night. That being said, I'm not going to spend too much time worrying about that, but
I will say this, and this seemed to be the focus from Oliver Marmol when he spoke with the media last night, and I think there's a lot of validity to it. Were there people out there when the season got started that thought that this team could be a pretty good team and could sneak into the playoffs? Yeah, there were, and I'll raise my hand. I was one of those people. My belief was that the team wasn't worse than who they were last year, and they had so many things from a luck standpoint go against them last year. Offense last year was so terrible, it had to take a step forward, and I still stand by that. But when you're selling off at the deadline, when you're doing things like that, all of a sudden things change. Cardinals are going to finish the season in the neighborhood of 500. If they don't lose again this year, they'll finish as a 500 club. That's unlikely. Worst case scenario, 3 games under 500. Not obviously it's still a losing season, but it's not the Colorado Rockies. It's not the White Sox from last year. It's not what we have seen from the Pittsburgh Pirates year after year after year. It's not that. It's not something to really hold your hat on, but I do think that there is some credit to be given for a team that almost everybody from the outside world said, this is going to be a bad team. This might be a last place team in the division. This might be a 90-loss team. They're not going to be any of those things. Yet, honestly, if we're being really honest about things, the roster wasn't good enough, and they could have been that. I think I overvalued the roster when the season got started. If I came to a realization as this season went along, where I was wrong before the season got started, I thought the roster was better than it was. I overvalued a lot of players, and I think the Cardinals overvalue a number of their players. I think every organization overvalues their players. They're your guys. They're the guys that you drafted. They're the guys that you developed. They're the guys that when you see the flashes of greatness, you believe that this is who they are. So the thing that I learned this year about the Cardinals was I overvalued the roster. I thought they were better than they actually were, and I don't think they are as good as the record would say they are. So that's a credit to Oliver Marmol, and that's a credit to the players on the team because they outplayed expectations. Not expectations. They outplayed their talent. That's the better way to put it. Still not good enough. If from a very raw perspective, this is a 4th place team. This is a below 500 club. That is not the standard in St. Louis. It has to be better than that, and it has to consistently be better than that. And that's what they're going for. That's the goal of Chaim Bloom. I don't want to spend too much time on expectations for next year and the year after that and the year after that, because I think we need to hear from Chaim first and start to understand how they view this thing. I hope that there's a lot of transparency when we hear from them. Indications are it'll probably take place sometime, midweek next week at some point. That we'll get that conversation, and then we can start talking about it. Up until that point, all we can do is kind of make assumptions. Now, we talked about it in Redbird Rush Hour because of what Sonny Gray said last night. Gray is obviously open to a trade now, and that's something the last offseason he was not open to. We know that Nolan Arenado has been open to a trade to a very limited number of teams. That's where it was last year. Well, he was quoted as saying in a story by Katie Wu of The Athletic that he's going to open up that list a little bit, that there's going to be more teams that he would accept a trade to. And what that also tells me is there is some regret from him that he probably would have taken, if he would have seen the future, he probably would have accepted the deal to the Astros. And I think we can all lament now that deal did not take place because we don't know the exact specifics of the deal, but it sounds like it probably would have been something that was pretty good for the Cardinals in terms of the players that were going to be coming back. And bluntly, that type of deal, whatever it was, it's not going to be available. Arenado's value has gone down. The only thing that brings Arenado's value up a little bit is the fact that now there's just 2 years left on the contract. So that means there is less money on the contract. You're still going to have to eat a whole bunch of it, especially for this upcoming season. But it's not a team that brings him in will not be committed to as many years as 2 years instead of 3 years as if you would have made the deal last year. But unfortunately, he is a declining player, and he's been declining for 3 years. And executives for other teams are going to see that, and that's going to provide another challenge when Chaim Bloom is attempting to make that move. We are going to take a break. We are scheduled to be joined in just a couple moments by Patrick Anderson. Again, he is the manager of the Springfield Cardinals. The Cardinals are the 2025 Texas League champions. They won yesterday over Midland in a winner-take-all game at number 3 of that Texas League Championship Series. And after, I believe, a long day of traveling, we'll talk with Patrick Anderson coming up in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere. Live at Hot Shots in Fenton, this is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will
hour from Chesterfield, an hour from downtown. Innsbrook-resort.com.
Now, back to the Strike Zone, presented by Gray Bar on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's all part of a Gray Bar Sports Open Line, and we are continuing to broadcast the show live at Hot Shots in Fenton. Tomas Ostrak from Siess is here. He'll continue to be signing autographs, taking photos, doing things like that through 8 o'clock. It was a really special night last night for the Springfield Cardinals, a winner-take-all Game 3 of a Texas League Championship Series in Midland, Texas, and Springfield beats Midland. It wasn't even close, 13-1. They scored 3 runs in the top of the first and never looked back after that. We are just really happy to be able to welcome onto the program. He is the manager of the Springfield Cardinals. He is Patrick Anderson. Patrick, thanks for taking some time. Generally, I ask people how are they doing, but I can assume that you're doing pretty good right now.
Just kind of waking up in a sense. We had a long 10-hour bus ride back, and but we're pretty fired up to be back at home and excited for what happened last night.
So you guys spent the night in Midland and then hopped on a bus this morning. Is that how it worked out?
No, we actually left last night. We got in about 11 a.m. this morning, and so that's what happens in AA. It's just what you do, and boys want to get back home, and we're a little bit on the zombie world right now, but I think we're doing all right.
You don't know me that well. I spent 10 years as a minor league baseball broadcaster, so I've been on many of those bus rides. So I very much feel for you in this moment. But obviously that bus ride feels a lot better after a win. Speak just about your team and what they did and how special of a moment it was to be able to not just win that series, but to go on the road down 1-0 and win back-to-back games, one game come from behind, the other game in very one-sided fashion.
It's been indicative of our club in the sense of how we've gone about our business from day one. These guys have just grinded things out. They battled. They've worked every single day just for the opportunity to be able to play each pitch, each inning. And, it's been really a tribute to their hard work. They're really resilient. They work their tail off every single day. They got used to winning, and nothing phases them. We've been down all year long. We've come back. We've had leads. We've lost leads. We've actually had some opportunities to come back, and just nothing phases them. So, for them to be able to do what they did doesn't surprise any one of us. It's just a matter of who else is going to step up and how we're going to do it.
Sometimes winning and losing in the minor leagues gets discounted because it becomes so much about individual development. What's your take on that? How important is not just winning, but being able to win a championship? What does that do for these players?
So, I'll give you a little quick history. I was with the Kansas City Royals a long time ago, and I was real fortunate where I had, a lot of the players that ended up winning the World Series, like your Moustakas, your Salvador Perez's, and they just got used to winning, and they played the game. It was pretty much a byproduct of how they went about their business. And they would come out on the winning side a lot to the plain fact of what they did every single game and understanding how to be able to play the game right. The same thing with the Washington Nationals. I was there, and then when we got over here with the Cardinals, we just kept watching these guys just getting after it, doing the right thing. I mean, we're fortunate, obviously, to have really good pitching. We've had a lot of guys just play the game the Cardinal way, if you will, and get guys on, get guys over, get guys in, and buying into that. And it worked out to be able to have our cake and eat it too, in the sense of like developing, moving guys up, and the next guy coming in and doing the right thing. And we just kept seeing ourselves on the winning side and just got used to it.
Under the category of something that our listeners might not care about, but I loved hearing you say that. I was the Royals low A broadcaster in Burlington, Iowa, when Moustakas and Hosmer and Perez and Duffy and all those guys came through. So when you said that was fun because I had those same guys on that minor league journey, and I loved it.
I must have missed you because I was in Idaho Falls, and I was in Burlington about 5 years before that. So I know that league real well, and a lot of those guys. And like I said, it was real fortunate to be around them. And like I said, I see a lot of the same similarities with a lot of players here now and what they're doing. Each of them moving up and playing well together and being at each level and doing some things that are pretty special. So we're looking forward to be able to see these guys progress. And there's a handful of them obviously made some great leagues already, and we're hoping to be able to build on that and guys to be able to be successful at the highest level.
You got to see a little bit of Liam Doyle. He got the call up to help you guys through the end of the regular season and the postseason. Give your thoughts on what you saw in the Cardinals' first-round draft pick this year.
Absolutely love this young man. He did all the little things. He watches, he listens. Every start for any one of our starters, he was out there
watching these guys doing their throwing program on their side, getting their stretching, doing everything beforehand. You watch their process. You watch every little thing. He kept everything in. He watched when we had some rehab guys. We had Arenado, and then we had Newpar. But when he was here, he saw Arenado and Donovan go about their business, and he just kept asking questions, kept watching. And it was really awesome to be able to see a young man coming right out of college, not a lot of experience in professional baseball, watching how people go about their business and really take it all in. And when he did pitch, he threw a couple innings for us. He was lights out. So he's got a really good future. Looking forward to be able to see him. He's got the right mentality. You can tell he's going to be very special.
There's a lot of value for the Cardinals having their top two affiliates, really their top three affiliates, but speak specifically about Memphis and Springfield, so close, because when they're at home, they're able to send their rehab guys there. As you've seen rehab guys come in and out, what kind of impact, beyond just Doyle trying to be a sponge, but for everybody, what kind of impact can those guys have when they come in, even though they've got their own business to take to worry about?
Well, for one thing, when Donovan came in, Arenado, Newpar, and Gorman, when they all came in along with Walt Walker, they went about their business really well. I mean, it was awesome to be able to watch them. And that's what these guys pick up. They see, they listen, they watch, and they're very approachable. Donovan was great. He made a comment to myself. It was pretty impressive that each one of our guys just went about their business in a professional way. They played the game right. They passed the baton on with regards to how we went about our business offensively. It was really fun to be around. They joined right in. A really cool part is Gorman and Newpar were playing cards, hanging out with the fellas, more so that I've ever seen any rehab guy, and they fit in well. It was really awesome to be able to watch these guys go about their business. Arenado stepped up and voiced his opinion with regards to some of the approach with our hitters meeting, our advanced scouting reports beforehand, and just be able to see those guys at that level intertwine with our guys, really prepared for our guys to be able to be prepared every single day, and it meshed really well for us.
Just a couple more minutes with the manager of the AA Texas League champion Springfield Cardinals. We're talking with Patrick Anderson. Patrick, this is the first year for a new regime in player development led by Rob Cerfolio, but the Larry Days, the Matt Pierponts, obviously Hein Bloom has been very involved in the minor league system as well. As somebody who's been in the organization and just watching the changes have been made, can you speak a little bit about what you've seen and the positive impact that so many of these really smart people that have been brought into the organization, what they've been able to do?
Attention to detail with regards to our player plans are really, really impressive. And really the accountability, the communication with each player, understanding what they need to be able to do on a daily process, and understanding that the communication between both the player, coaching staff, front office, everybody's on the same page. It's really elevated with regards to some of the analytics information. It enhances us with regards to our advanced information. It just allows these players to be really prepared. We're doing a lot more extensive breakdown for every single one of our players, and for them to be able to, be on the same page with everybody moving forward. So it's impressive for me. It's a different look, different sound, and a different way about going about certain parts of it, along with some of the things we've had before. And they've embraced what we've done really well beforehand, before they came in there. And then obviously meshing both of them has been such a great situation for everybody, and it's very transparent for the player. And so far, it's been really, really awesome for everybody moving forward. And it's a great first step as we move forward.
Final thing for you. I know you live in Columbia, Missouri. You spent some time in Peoria, Illinois, managing. Now you're with the Springfield Cardinals. What's it like just being around Cardinals fans all the time, working in the organization, and the support that they give this team, whether it's at the major league level, but you've also seen the support that comes at the minor league level as well?
The knowledge of the game from the fans is so impressive. I sit there and listen and watch, just the little side comments and just asking questions, whether it be, us just being interviewed by anybody or just being around anybody before or after the game, and public speaking opportunities with some of the fans. And it's such a good feeling to be able to be around people that know the game of baseball, respect the game of baseball, and they understand it. And you can just sense that as we go about our business. We go to different places, throughout the Texas League, and it's a different atmosphere, it's a different knowledge of the game. And, for us, we're very fortunate to be able to be around our fans. That they have a rich, history and understanding of how to play the game. And it's really to be able to tell, how we go about our business every single day, and they appreciate that. It's just the cardinal way on top of understanding how people are. They understand the game. It's been really inviting for me to be able to see, and the players embrace it as well.
He is Patrick Anderson. He is the manager of the Springfield Cardinals, who just won a Texas League championship. Patrick, I know you're exhausted. I know the travel's been terrible. It means a lot that you found a few minutes for us tonight. Congratulations. Get nothing but sleep over the next few weeks, and hopefully we can chat again down the line.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. Yes, we're running off of fumes, but I'll be able to get rejuvenated and hope to be able to get things rock and roll here in the next couple of days.
Awesome. Very good. Thanks, Patrick.
Take care.
That's Patrick Anderson joining us on the program again. Great to see the Springfield Cardinals come away with a Texas League championship winning last night. We'll take another break. When we come back, Channel 5's Corey Miller is going to be with us as we roll on with Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Do want to remind you, though, as we talk about the Springfield Cardinals, those are the St. Louis Cardinals of the future. Building the Future is presented by Gray Bar. Gray Bar, a great place to work and headquartered in St. Louis. We've got more coming up in just a moment right here on KMOX.
At Gray Bar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Gray Bar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Sunday, the Chiefs, the Ravens. Siteman Cancer Center game time, 3:25.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer.
Hear all the action from Arrowhead on 97.1 FM Talk.
It's a Great Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX, continuing to broadcast live at Hot Shots in Fenton. Tomas Ostrak from City SC is here. We've still got some more giveaways to do before we get done at 8 o'clock. So if you're in the area, stop on by, get yourself a Michelob Ultra. The folks from Together Credit Union here, they've got a bunch of swag to give away. So we would love to see you. We're also very happy to be able to talk with our good friend over at Channel 5, sports reporter and anchor. He is Corey Miller. Corey, thanks for taking the time with us today. How are you?
Man, thanks for having me. I'm doing well.
Let's talk through kind of where the Cardinals are at now. Last night they get mathematically eliminated. So from a negative standpoint, they're a fourth-place team. They're below 500. They're not going to the playoffs. From a positive standpoint, I think they played better than a lot of people thought they would play this year. We don't really know what the future holds with Chaim Bloom taking over. What's your kind of 30,000 feet view of this organization right now?
It is interesting to look at it right now because 78 and 81 right now. If you would have told people that at the beginning of the season, I think they would have said, yeah, that sounds about right. But then, the games unfold and this team is just a few games away from, making it into the playoffs with how things are currently set up and how many teams can get in. So it's a little disappointing in that regard. But if you go back to the beginning of the season, this is what everybody expected. This team, I can't tell you how many sound bites we've aired about it, but it is true. They had so many guys that just did not give up on games on the season this year. So that is something to feel positive about. I don't want to go too overboard on the positivity because there's a lot to be negative about, but there are plenty of guys on this team who could have rolled over and called it a season and called it an individual game in a lot of different places, and they didn't. That's good to see. Now you move forward to kind of a fresh start, a new era with Chaim Bloom coming in. You hear from Arenado and Sonny Gray over the last few days, and even Sonny Gray last night talking to reporters in the clubhouse. Seems like he's ready to talk about that no trade clause. Seems like we're in store for more of a rebuild than we've seen in quite a while, and we'll see what young players survive that rebuild.
Does it surprise you that 1 year ago, Sonny Gray did not want to get traded? The year maybe went a little bit better than people thought. You don't have to squint that hard to look at this team as being a playoff club. They, if they make the move, McGreevy for Fetty a month earlier, it might that single move might have been the thing that was different. Yet now all of a sudden Gray is talking about the team hasn't won enough in his 2 years, and he would be open to a trade. Does anything kind of surprise you about the entire course of that story, going from where he was at a year ago to where he's at right now?
The Fetty McGreevy thing is right on point because I just was talking about that exact thing with our sports director, Frank Cusimano, yesterday. If they make that move a couple starts earlier, the Cardinals are playing this last series against the Cubs with a legitimate chance to go to the playoffs. But I digress. We'll get back to the original point here. Sonny Gray, you just have to wonder, I guess, maybe he sat down with somebody in the front office and they've really given him a clearer picture of how things are going to go, and if they really plan on stripping this down as much as they can and not competing for a couple years, who knows how much longer Sonny Gray is going to pitch. I assume he wants to win. And, he was okay being here this year, but maybe now he's gotten the full scope of just how intense this is going to be the next couple years and didn't want to be on board for it. I think that's actually good for the Cardinals. You've got Arenado's contract, which they're going to have to eat at least some of that, probably a lot of it. Gray's contract, if Wilson Contreras is open to being moved, it does seem like a time you're going to go one way or the other, and I think we know which way the Cardinals are going to go.
It's rather remarkable. Not that they would trade all of these guys, but there are scenarios where the three guys you just mentioned, Arenado, Gray, Contreras, and then Donovan, Nootbaar, Gorman. There's other players I'm probably not even thinking of right now. Like there are a lot of very tradable players on this roster right now.
I'm kind of fascinated to see how they evaluate their younger guys. Because this year was supposed to be, the runway year where they just let them go. And I don't think they loved the results on a number of those guys. They certainly loved it on a few of them. But if they didn't love the results, was that enough for them to give up on a Jordan Walker, on a Nolan Gorman? Who knows? And then you have, guys you've developed like Brendan Donovan and Alec Burleson, who certainly have some value. But the whole point of this is to develop your own players who are going to be good for you. I don't think you can cut bait on those guys. So it's going to be pretty fascinating what happens between now and that spring training date.
We all have biases. I'll share my bias. I am very frustrated right now with Jordan Walker. Watching him play last night, where he takes a 93-mile-per-hour middle flat fastball and just watches it, and then drops a catch in the outfield, and then grounds into a double play. Like, unfortunately, that's been the Jordan Walker experience. We've seen a lot of it, and in a game where they get mathematically eliminated, that was a frustrating watch last night. I think the idea of trading him is something that you don't do because he makes so little money, and the underlying stuff is there where if you ever get him to figure it out, you could have a really special ball player. But in the short term where you don't have that, and he's literally one of the worst baseball players in Major League Baseball, what in the world do you do with Walker moving forward? Is this guy a guy who's going to be at AAA next year?
Oh, gosh, I was hoping you wouldn't ask me about him because as I've stated, I think on the show before, there's one Jordan Walker fan left in the world, it's going to be me because I cannot believe it has not panned out so far, and I still believe that it is going to, contrary to just about everything we've seen so far, especially last night. When he dropped that ball in right field, I just sighed deeply, and I think I might have changed the channel at that point to some kind of sitcom rerun because I was so upset with what I was seeing. But I have no idea. Is it the information he's getting in? There was the whole, hitting coach, situation with, was he listening? Was he not listening? That kind of thing. I don't have the answers. I hope somebody in the Cardinals system does because we are just a couple years removed. This guy led the team in his rookie year in batting average. I mean, we know he can hit for average. We saw it. We still haven't seen the power, which I just cannot explain at all and have no answer for it. And maybe it's just never going to come. But listen, as long as he's still on the Cardinals, I'm still going to keep believing that it's just going to click at some point. But I have not been given a whole lot of evidence to back that up.
Let's switch gears real quickly before we get you out of here. We're talking with Corey Miller, sports reporter, sports anchor with Channel 5. Blues training camp underway. They've got they've been on the ice playing preseason games. What's your takeaway so far, and what are your expectations for this Blues team? Because expectations do seem to be pretty darn high.
It's hard not to be excited when you're out at Blues training camp. You just kind of feel it in the air that everybody knows, okay, we've got kind of the team that we have been planning for a while. And I actually asked Doug Armstrong about this on the first day out there. When this team sold off of some of their older guys whose contracts were expiring and it looked like it was going to be kind of down for a couple years, it came back so much faster than I think a lot of people anticipated because of, good drafting, savvy moves from Doug Armstrong, getting especially the offer sheet guys from Edmonton, and then your young players, Robert Thomas, Jordan Kyrou, and now Dylan Holloway really coming into their own and being kind of in the prime of their careers, really could do something special. And it's just set up for a run. It is. Now, I don't want anybody to get too excited. This isn't going to be a President's Trophy winning team or anything, I don't think. But this team is very, very deep. We haven't even seen all of the guys they got coming that they really like yet. And you've got experience where it counts, especially in net when Jordan Binnington and a great tandem with Joel Hofer and leaders like Braden Shen and Colton Parayko out there on the ice. So lots of excitement for Blues. I think it's warranted.
Yeah, they did the development camp before training camp, and they had all those first rounders out there together, and they all performed well in the development camp. And a lot of those guys are able to take part in training camp. It's remarkable that they have the roster ready for those guys not to be needed, but a lot of those guys could get there at some point in the near future. Some of those guys may start the year with the team and then get, sent back to juniors, whatever it might be, but there's a lot of talent in the organization that we're not going to see even on opening night?
I'm fairly confident that Dalibor Dvorsky could be an NHL player right now, but the Blues are in such a luxury that they don't have to rush him or anything. And Doug Armstrong said when he comes up, he's not playing on the fourth line. They're not going to waste him there. This is a high-impact offensive guy that they want to make sure is ready to plug in and make a difference, and they have the luxury to wait and do that. Justin Carbonneau, 18 years old, they just drafted him. He's maybe been the most impressive guy I've seen on the ice so far with how big and strong he plays at just 18 years old. He's not going to be on this team out of camp, but then there's yet another guy who adds to your depth and coming down the system. So Doug Armstrong has really created something to leave behind here in his last season for Alex Steen and company that I think he could be proud of.
Last thing for you, you're a Mizzou guy. Mizzou's gotten off to a really, really strong start to the season. They just have a scrimmage this weekend, it seems like, when UMass comes to town. But that being said, they've had two tough opponents in Kansas and South Carolina. They've been able to win both those games. It's been a pretty impressive start to the season for the Tigers.
Yeah, I think it's a 43.5 spread this weekend against UMass. If anybody out there is interested in that kind of information. So yeah, this should be just everybody come out healthy this week, I think, is the main focus, and then rest up for a week and you get Alabama. The schedule looks pretty awesome so far. You get all these games at home in a row, and then you get an off week right before Alabama comes to town. Listen, they're set up for something special. Are they going to come through with it? I don't know, but they are certainly set up for it. And like the Blues, they're deep at almost every position. They got to figure out their secondary a little bit. Too many big plays on third and even sometimes fourth down. You can't let that happen once you start playing better competition. But so far, this script has played out exactly how Eli Drinkwitz would want it to play out. And this team is certainly exciting.
That point spread and over-under is remarkable. You mentioned 43.5, and then the over-under is 56.5. So they're expecting that to be like a 50-6 game or a 40. I can't even do the math in my head, but a 43.5 point spread with a 56.5 over-under is not something you see very often.
If they really want to get Ahmad Hardy into that Heisman, talk, just give him the ball like 20 times and let him run for like 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think that would maybe a good idea for on Saturday.
He is Corey Miller, Channel 5 sports reporter, sports anchor. Anything you're working on right now of note that you want to plug before we get out of here?
We're deep in the heart of high school football now. Every Friday night we have our 5 on Your Sideline show on Channel 5. We go out and get a bunch of great highlights and stories from around the area. That's good every Friday night. And on Sunday, Sports Plus, Frank Cusimano's got a big show. He's got John Mozeliak on as he heads out the door here from his Cardinals career, as well as Dennis Gates, and expected to also have Ahmad Hardy, who I just mentioned on the show. So big Sports Plus coming up on Sunday night.
Yeah, star-studded edition. Corey, we always appreciate your time. Enjoy your evening, and hope to see you again real soon.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. That's Corey Miller joining us here on KMOX and Sports Open Line. Again, we are broadcasting the show live from Hot Shots in Fenton. We've got about 10 more minutes to go. If you are in the direct area, stop on by. You can still get an autograph, a picture with Tomas Ostrak from City SC. He is continuing to hang out here until 8 o'clock. We will take a break and wrap up the program in just a moment. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
At Gray Bar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Gray Bar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renner Garage Door knows how to bring joy too. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra and their monumental tour, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, to Enterprise Center December 23rd at 3 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. A portion of the proceeds benefits Sightman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. And right now, Trans-Siberian Orchestra is offering their lowest ticket price in years, starting at $55 including fees, only for a limited time. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
For residential and commercial heating repairs, service, maintenance, or installation, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. With over 50 years of HVAC service, get in your comfort zone this winter. Visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
An important message from S&L Coins. S&L Coins pays top dollar for your gold and silver coins, old currency, gold-filled jewelry, scrap gold and silver, silver plating, gold and silver bullion. Get a quote with a call to S&L at 544-3600. S&L Coins, 544-3600. Or visit S&L Coins at 9300 Gravois, just east of McKenzie. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Saturday. Before you sell, call S&L 544-3600.
Guys, Glover here for my friends at my favorite sports fantasy app, Underdog. So baseball's still going on. Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to select entries and win money all season long. You can play right now in Missouri. Playing on Underdog is super easy. Just choose whether your favorite player will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your entries right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the Underdog app today and sign up with promo code Glover to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code Glover. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog, and you could be next. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms_DFS_.html for details. If you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Now, back to the Strike Zone, presented by Gray Bar on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Just a few minutes left in this edition of the program as we continue to broadcast the show live from Hot Shots in Fenton. I want to say thank you to the folks here for having us once again. Not just tonight, but this is our fourth and final soccer showcase, so we have made our way from Hot Shots to Hot Shots to Hot Shots, and everybody has been incredibly hospitable as we have stopped by all these different locations, all the players that have been willing to come out here and spend a couple hours with us and talk to fans and take photos and do all those sort of things. It's pretty awesome that they do that. And the fans, we have so many people have been to each and every single one of these stops. Really cool. The folks with Together Credit Union, they're out here every week giving stuff away. It's a really cool experience, and we love doing it. And we'll do it again next year, and we'll just keep on doing these things. So thanks so much. Also, Michelob Ultra for their support in all of this as well. What's on Deck is presented by Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best, chesterfieldfence.com. Cardinals are getting set for their final 3 games of the season, and then the year is going to be over. Cardinals are going to play the Cubs in a 3-game set beginning tomorrow afternoon. Nothing, if you like night games, if that's all you pay attention to, well, your season's over because the Cardinals have no more night games remaining. They made up for it with 3 straight West Coast night games over the last few days, but they're going to play 3 straight games and during the day at Wrigley in Chicago, and the pitching looks like this. Cardinals are going to go with Miles Michaelis tomorrow, likely making his final start ever for the Cardinals. I think it is incredibly unlikely that he would re-sign with the club. I'm going to be really interested to see what kind of market he might have because he's made it clear that he absolutely does want to pitch next season, and he's had some really good moments, a lot more not so good moments, and I'll be curious to see what kind of market he has. Then game 2 on Saturday, it's going to be Michael McGreevy. That is a change. They have made the decision to skip over Matthew Liberatore, so they ended Liberatore's season early. And then on Sunday, it's to be announced. I would not be shocked if we maybe see Kyle Leahy in that spot and just give him a chance to start the final game of the year, and that propels him into the offseason and propels him into a starting role potentially next year, especially if the team does trade Sonny Gray And I'm not convinced Andre Palante's back next year, where you look at him in arbitration. He's coming off $2 million a year this year in arbitration. You would think there's a possibility that his arbitration projection could be into the $4 million. From a value standpoint, can you spend that $4 million somewhere else? Not that there's a lot of pitching in the organization, but I'm not convinced Palante's back. So if Sonny's gone and if Palante's gone, that just opens up that much bigger of a door for Kyle Leahy to potentially become a starter. And I'd like to see him. My hope is that Leahy gets the start coming up on Sunday. That's just about going to do it for the program tonight. Jim Hewer took care of us here on site doing the engineering. Kyle Sixta back at the station. It takes so many people who are very good at their jobs, working with that, doing their thing, to have remote broadcasts go off without a hitch. And I'm very appreciative of them. Appreciative of you for being tuned in here on KMOX.
There is no doubt about it. The MVP of Outdoor Solutions is Chesterfield Fence.